Do you want to know how to break through your keto weight loss plateau?
In this video, we'll be giving you 8 possible reasons why you've stopped losing weight.
And give you solutions so you can kickstart your weight loss and become even more healthy.
Welcome to the Liz and Skatz channel. Hi, I'm Liz and I'm a clinical holistic therapist, a yoga and meditation teacher.
And I'm Skatz, and I'm a musician and music therapist with type 2 diabetes. And together we've been beating my diabetes, improving our health, losing weight with a keto lifestyle.
And now we're sharing our experiences with you so that you can be more healthy too.
Help us to help you in your keto lifestyle by doing this. Subscribe, and click on the bell.
So, you're trying to lose weight on keto and you're having problems.
Well, don't worry. We've had our problems along the way. It's not been plain sailing, our journey either. But we've lost over 85 pounds in weight between us. And that's the size of a small human being. And we're learning all of the time so that we can achieve our ideal weight and health and fitness and help you along the way.
So first of all, let's work out why you're stuck and then let's find some solutions.
We have 8 suggestions of things that we've learned along the way. Now remember, we're not medical health professionals, we're not doctors, but we have learned an awful lot from doing research, and all of that research is based on what the experts have said, and we are learning all the time. So let's get right into it. Reason number 1, you may be on a natural plateau.
Yeah.
Because everybody is different. Some people can plateau for days or weeks or even anything up to a month. Maybe if you've been stuck for a month or more, then that would be the time to look for a solution.
Yes, and women are different. We tend to fluctuate our weight with our hormones and our cycle, so that might be a problem too. Mm-hmm. A solution might be just to not weigh yourself as often, maybe once a week. Maybe measure yourself, actually your vital statistics. Mm-hmm. So chest, waist, hips, maybe around the arms at the tops and your thighs, because it might be that you're actually losing inches instead.
Yeah, that's happened a few times to me. I've lost quite a few inches now from my waist. I think I've gone down from 44 or even more than that. I was 36 last time I measured myself, and I think I've definitely lost some since then. I'm fitting into 32 trousers now, stretchy ones, but 32.
Yeah, and I've lost around about 6 inches, 7 inches around my waist. So, and about 3 or 4 inches from my hips. It seems to be going slower from off my hips. So.
Yeah. Maybe that's a woman thing.
Maybe it's a woman thing. We have more fat in our bodies anyway than men do. That's a scientific fact. And so we just need to keep an eye on the measurements. That might be what's going on.
Mm-hmm. So, number 2, macros. Macros are very important. You should be counting your carbs, your protein and your fats, because sometimes you might just be having too many carbs. And even if you've been counting a while ago and you stopped counting because you think, I'm used to it now, I've done this, and suddenly you found, we've both done this, and then you find that when you start weighing your food again, that you've actually started eating something that you'd just forgotten how many carbs was in it.
Or more of the food that we've been eating all along. So it's very easy to do, isn't it? Just to suddenly start creeping up with those... with the weights of the food that you're eating.
It is. And of course, the more carbs you're eating, you might actually have kicked yourself out of ketosis. You might not have even got into ketosis in the first place. And of course, if you eat too many carbs, that's going to spike your insulin, but also too much protein is going to spike your insulin.
That's true.
Or not enough fat is not good either. You need to be making sure you've got the right amount of fat, because you're going to be feeding off that, getting your energy from it.
That tends to be my problem. I don't have enough fat. Too much protein and not enough fat seems to be my go-to issues. So.
Mm-hmm. And of course, what you're doing, you're measuring your macros over the whole day.
Yeah.
So if it's the snack at the start of the day and you're only eating the 2 meals like we are because of the fasting that we're doing, which we'll talk about in a minute, then you've got to bear in mind that you can change those macros by eating more fat during your evening meal, during the big meal.
That's right. So you can spread out the macros over the 2 meals.
So the solutions for this one is check your macros, get an app, or you can check them online, I think, in some places, and keep a diary.
Yeah, keeping a diary has actually been very, very helpful for me in general, especially when you're plateauing, because you can go back and see how much weight you've lost in previous weeks. So it does actually chivvy you on to keep going, just in case you're feeling a bit sad and sorry for yourself a little bit, like you can do. We've certainly felt like that over the weeks. So it just keeps you buoyant, and you're realising, actually, I've lost all this weight already, or I've lost 4 pounds since last week, or I lost 2 pounds since last week. Or
And you could look over the whole course of how much weight you've lost. Sometimes it's not good to look backwards. We should all be looking forwards at where we're going, but looking backwards to see how much weight you've lost and how much health you've gained over the course of your program, then that's got to be good.
And of course, it's not always about the destination; it's the journey too.
Yeah.
So finding more out about yourself whilst you're whilst you're losing your weight is really quite an important thing to be doing. And the other day I plateaued, and I looked back to a month ago, and I'd lost like half a stone. So just goes to show.
Right then, number 3.
Too much stress. A lot of people think of stress as being just a trauma or something that just happens quickly, suddenly, like a car accident or, a fall or something like that. But actually, ongoing stress is a really important factor in you not losing weight. So, of course, what we need to do is mellow out. And we'll put a little card at the top here for you to go to the meditation videos that we've got on our channel, so that you can find one that's right for you and just have a nice relax.
That is bad for you. Stress is bad for you because it raises cortisol, and that can put a stop on your weight loss. And
of course, cortisol then as well interferes with your insulin. So it can actually make you produce insulin even if you've not eaten anything. There is proof that actually happens. So, we need to keep the stress levels down. Yeah,
and a lot of these reasons are to do with stopping your insulin going up and spiking too much too often.
Yeah. So, some solutions for the stress is to make sure that you get lots of exercise, good exercise, not too stressful, nice, slow, easy walking, slow cycling, nice swimming maybe, and also you need to, what else?
Do relaxation exercises. You could do yoga, you could do meditation, you could do mindfulness. All of those things reduce stress.
Absolutely.
So number 4, not enough sleep. This ties in also with the stress that we've just talked about. Not enough sleep. Also, you're tired, your cortisol goes up again, that interferes with your insulin.
It interferes with your metabolism as well. If you are actually tired, then you're not going to feel like going out for your walk or for your swim or for whatever it is that you're doing exercise-wise. And it means that you might end up eating more as well. So this is another reason why getting a good night's sleep as best you can is a really good idea.
And that's the solution.
Yeah.
Make sure you leave enough time so that you can get a good night's sleep, and also maybe don't watch TV or look at your monitors, which have got this effect of keeping you awake and interfering with your sleep and your melatonin. Is it that it affects?
Yeah. Well remembered.
Thank you. And yes, so do lots of things. Do some research about the best ways to ease yourself into your sleep, and also make sure you've curtains are closed and you've got a good blackout in your bedroom. Another
reason why you might not be able to sleep is because you've got noise. We'd like to suggest a solution which is a white noise machine or an app on your phone, which actually is just like a really kind of mellow noise in the background that doesn't really interfere with your sleep, but it blocks out other frequencies. So it actually helps you get some sleep. So if you've got a really noisy place, or even if it's too quiet, sometimes people find it difficult to sleep if it's too quiet too.
We call it a whooshy.
We call it our whooshy.
Whooshy machine. So number 5, you might be doing the wrong exercise. We've already talked about this just now with regard to cortisol and stress. It's good to do low intensity exercise for fat burning. That's how you lose the most weight.
So yes, the solutions for this is just nice low intensity exercise. Take your time, go for a nice long walk, get a dog.
Get a dog, get a dog. Yes. And it doesn't hurt, of course, if in the middle of that exercise you come to a big hill and you've got to do more sort of cardio where you're a little bit out of breath.
Yeah.
That's all right, and your heart rate's going to go over this sort of 120 BPM level.
It's going to happen.
But, you'll come down the other side and it'll, your heart rate will go down again and you'll be back to low intensity.
Indeed.
And, take your time when you're out there. Don't stress yourself out when you're walking.
Yeah, because that is what happens when we do higher intensity, more heart rate and less breath or out of breath means that we are actually producing cortisol. So we need to keep away from that if we possibly can. For now.
Yeah. And have a look at the countryside around you. If you're walking out in the countryside, if you're lucky like we are, to have it very nearby, just out there through that window.
Lovely, mindful way to walk. Actually, if you've got a lot going on in your mind, it's a bit stressy, is to just walk along, find your breath, keep your breath as your anchor. But also, why don't you do something which I love doing, which is actually if you start from A and go all the way through to Z and look for things that begin with that letter.
Oh.
It keeps you present and keeps you in the moment so that it's very, very simple for you to be mindful on your walk.
So you can start with at B.
At B, yeah.
So number 6, metabolism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All linked, isn't it?
Yeah, everything's linked in.
Yeah. So metabolism is basically controlled by various glands in your body. And if you are not exercising, then it can get a little bit sleepy and sluggish, and then you won't actually work through your digestive system. You'll feel a little bit more tired. You do actually need to do some exercise and to move your body in order to get your metabolism going.
Yes. So the solution for that one is exercise or intermittent fasting.
Intermittent fasting, yeah. Intermittent fasting is fantastic because basically you're giving your whole entire body a rest, but at the same time you're resting some of the endocrine system so that they can actually start working properly again. So this is why your metabolism starts cranking up a little bit when we do the intermittent fasting. And your body after a certain time of intermittent fasting will actually go, where has the food gone, what's going on, we need to start burning some other kind of fuel, so it switches fuel and you end up burning fat.
And we found fasting is a great way to kickstart if you're in the keto plateau.
Yes.
So number 7, too many meals. I found this when I was just doing keto, when I'd done a low carb diet previous to this several years ago, that I was having 3 meals a day and I was eating too much because of that. And that means that my insulin was spiking, my glucose levels were spiking just too many times. It just doesn't give your body enough time to get into keto or stay in keto.
That's right.
And so, well, the solution is obvious for this one.
Once again, it's intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
Just shorten the window in which you are eating. Very, very simple. If you're eating for 14 hours a day, then just shift it to 12 hours a day and then shift it down to 10 and then down to 8. 16-8 is when you're actually considered to be doing intermittent fasting, and that's where we tended to start off. We started off with 16-8, but perhaps we should have tried to shorten the window a little bit first, which is part of the experience that we're passing on to you today. We are now doing no less than 18 hours of fasting every single day right now, and it makes it easier because when you're in ketosis you don't feel hungry that much anymore. So 2 meals a day is all we do, and it's really just a snack, really, isn't it? It's not a meal.
No.
It's a snack and then the main meal in the evening. So we don't really, and we don't have anything in between, because if you are snacking in between, like having, say for example, you start eating at 12 and you finish eating at 6, and then you eat your first meal at 12 and then you have something at 3, your insulin will spike again. So you're actually not giving yourself a chance to start burning fat. So if you are doing 2 meals, don't eat anything in between. Snacking is really not a good idea.
Yeah. And you'll find it a lot easier once you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
And especially if you're on keto and intermittent fasting, we found that they work together so well hand in hand.
Yeah, they're ideal to work together. And I think you'll find that most of the people who we've been looking up, like Dr. Sten and Eric Ekberg and Thomas DeLauer and people like that, they're all doing keto with intermittent fasting in some shape or form.
So, number 8, maybe you're still insulin resistant.
After all this time?
Yeah, after all this time.
Surely not.
Yes,
Why is that?
absolutely. Well, the thing is, you may not know that you're insulin resistant. If you're doing this to lose weight, then you may not think that you're diabetic or pre-diabetic,
Yeah.
which is what insulin resistance is all about.
That is the root cause of diabetes.
It is. And it's possible, probable actually, that 3/4 or more of the population are insulin resistant.
Especially in
already.
the Western world. Yeah. If you are wondering whether you are in proper ketosis, then we should recommend getting some ketosis
Ketone strips.
Ketone strips, that's it.
You pee on them.
Then you can get an idea of where you are. It's a colour code system, so it's really easy, simple to do, and they're quite cheap, aren't they? I think.
Yeah, very cheap, and you can get them on Amazon.
Yeah, and I think that in other parts of the world, I understand that you can actually go into your chemist and get them from there as well. So using that to just give you a guide as to whether you are actually in ketosis is a really good idea.
Yeah, and that won't tell you whether you're insulin resistant or not, but it'll tell you that you're able to fight it because you're producing ketones.
Yeah.
And also you're feeding your brain, because that's what ketones do.
Yes, and you are burning fat, because if you are producing ketones, you are using fat as fuel, so you will be fat adapted, as we call it.
And the more you keep up with keto and intermittent fasting, the easier it will get for you, and the more benefits for your health will come out of it. And we didn't mention autophagy, which we could have done. That's the major benefit, I think, of intermittent fasting, where your body starts eating itself. Yum.
Yeah, autophagy literally means eating yourself, but it basically what you're doing is a really nice deep clean. So all the dead cells from inside the body, inside everywhere, all of your organs, skin, everything, all get eaten and got rid of. It also, autophagy is fantastic for inflammation. So if you have any inflammatory diseases of any description, then autophagy, which kicks in after about 19 hours of fasting, is going to be really good for you too.
Perfect. We've hit bumps and worries along the way.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Oh yes, and we've got through it, and we hope by sharing all of our experiences with you that we can help you get through as well. So good luck with getting away from that plateau.
As always, if you've got any questions or comments about today's video, anything you'd like to ask us, please comment below. Give us a lovely like if you like what we're doing, or dislike if you don't like what we're doing. Then we can change things for you. If you don't tell us, we won't know.
Yeah, and subscribe and click on the bell, which is right there. And we will see you in our next video. Bye for now.